चंद्रमा पे तिरंगा लहरा दो.
ठीक है. I want to go across to Nabila, who's at the Nehru Planetarium in the national capital as well. Nabila, 20 minutes to go for all the action to start with the landing sequence. What's the atmosphere at the famous Nehru Planetarium in Delhi?
Well, right, I'm at the Nehru Planetarium, Shiv, and I'd like to focus a little on these installations that have been placed here. Of course, a bunch of enthusiastic space enthusiasts who are joining me right here. This is the installation that's to welcome the people who are coming into the planetarium to watch the Chandrayaan-3 successful mission. The Vikram lander in barely about 1 hour's time is going to be landing on the moon, and this is what's actually catching attention of people who are coming in. These are the kids here. If I may get a word from them, he's a budding scientist. That's what he wants to be. Today is a momentous day for India. You're here at the planetarium. What are you hoping to watch?
I am hoping to watch a great landing call by the rover today. And I hope India has many more successful missions like the one today, which we all hope for.
What's going to be the challenges in your view? Of course, our prayers are that it is a success, but what are the delicacies?
Okay, basically, some of the sensors could fail, the propulsion systems could stop working well. There could be a lot of challenges we could face, but our scientists are really clever.
And the scientists are really clever. You know, that's the hope that a bunch of them have. What do you think? So 5 decades, Shiv, 5 decades that countries across the globe have been attempting on a moon mission. Many of them, in fact, Russia attempted it 27 times, successful only 7 times. India's 3rd mission, and we're super confident.
We landed for the first time on the moon.
Absolutely, found water on the moon.
We landed on the first time with the Mars when no other country could, and we'll do the same on the moon.
We'll do the same on the moon. This is a quick look at the Chandrayaan-3, and these are installations. If I can ask my camera to give a quick pan of what the Nehru Stadium here in Delhi, Nehru Planetarium looks like. This is all the media frenzy here. Of course, Shiv, I'm also being told that people from the Supreme Court, some of the advocates, maybe some judges are also going to come by at the planetarium to have a good close look at the Chandrayaan-3 landing. It's all relayed live right here. Screens that have been put across. National capital is, of course, buzzing, and the mood is surely upbeat.
Nabila, thanks very much for that. We're going to come back to you in a short while. I'm sure the celebrations are going to explode even more once the landing is complete. But I want to go across to Akshita Nandagopal, who's at the ISRO viewing center in Bengaluru, where all the action is. We have a lot of experts from the space industry with us. Naveen Sharma from Spark Astronomy. Will be going to him in just a moment. We've got more guests joining us for the final stretch of our coverage here on India Today. But I want to go across to Akshita first, because she's at the epicenter of this incredible piece of history. Akshita, it's 5 p.m., 20 minutes to go now for the landing sequence to be initiated. 5:20 is when the live telemetry data is going to start streaming in on that lovely screen behind you.
That's right, Shiv, and I can tell you that right now they've started all preparations, clearing up any sort of chairs and all the lights that were put up on the stage, all of that being cleared, because the live streaming will begin here, and we're going to be getting you those updates. As soon as it starts, we'll be beaming it live for our viewers as well, because, you'll be able to see live how scientists are reacting. You'll be able to see what really they're doing to track very closely the movement of Chandrayaan-3. I can't believe that the moment has arrived, Shiv, because we've been counting down to this moment for so long now. We're just about 20 minutes away from Chandrayaan-3 actually starting its process of touching down on the south pole of the moon. Through the day, we've had so many interesting discussions about what this will mean for the Indian space story, what this really means as far as moon exploration is concerned, what's the next step for ISRO, why the south pole of moon. We'll get all of those answers, and of course much more to post 6:04. Just a reminder, 5:20, while you'll be watching it live, Prime Minister Modi, last time around a few years ago, was here personally to be with the ISRO team. Unfortunately, this time, because of the BRICS summit, he's not here, but we're being told he will be tracking every update virtually. He's going to be with the ISRO team during that nail-biting moment when the landing happens. So 5:20, you'll also see the Prime Minister tuning in on behalf of an entire grateful nation to congratulate the ISRO scientists, to be with them at a very anxious time. As Mr. Sivan told you, we've been talking about how cool, calm, collected they look, but I'm sure within them there are whispers of anxiety, there are whispers of what if. But with these scientists and the kind of work that they've done, emotions obviously running high. We can't wait. Honestly, I can't wait, Shiv. 6:04 is when the landing will be completed. 5:45 is when that 15 minutes of terror, which we've been speaking about in such great detail, will actually begin.
Just to remind all of our viewers, Akshita, stay with me. 18 minutes to go for the landing sequence to be initiated. Nerves now at fever pitch. India on the cusp of history. Whichever way this goes, it's going to be a successful mission. There's going to be a soft landing in less than an hour from now. 5:03, 6:04 p.m. is the scheduled moment of touchdown on the lunar surface. And therefore, in just about 17 minutes from now, the landing sequence will be initiated. It takes 44 minutes for everything to be completed before the Vikram lander comes touching down. Joining me live, let's get a quick perspective now. We're always bolstering our coverage here with the best perspectives by stakeholders, those who've tracked India's space program for a long time, and those who are part of India's space ecosystem. I'm joined now by Naveen Sharma. He is the founder of Spark Astronomy, which is a very well-known startup in the country. But I quickly want to first get Naveen. First, I will go to Raj Chengappa, who is our group editorial director and someone who has tracked ISRO, India's space program, the details of India's trysts with space for many, many years together, written many seminal articles about it as well. Mr. Chengappa, thank you so much for your time here. What an exciting day. You know, we're standing here now 15 minutes from that landing sequence, actually starting. I imagine you've actually been in some of those control rooms. Yes. What will it be like inside there right now?
Well, you know, Shiv, you were with me last year.
Yeah, last year.
2019,
yeah.
Let's put it. Like it's 4 years since we watched Chandrayaan-3, and of course, disappointingly, the result didn't come up to our expectations. But the fact is, I think there is a lot more confidence I find in the rooms. I mean, I was speaking to chairman of ISRO the other day, just day before yesterday. And what came through was that they have learned from that failure. And what they have built in is a lot of redundancies that are there. So if the propulsion system, which is what went wrong, you know, we were watching live at that time, and suddenly the spacecraft started disorienting itself.
Yeah.
And we thought this was part of the movement till we realized that they'd lost contact. Now, what was the reason? There was apparently an additional thrust. So what they've done in those, they've got 4 major thrusters that are there, apart from 8 control units, attitude and altitude controls. Now, among those 4, there was a malfunctioning happening. So what they've done is they have actually tested all these again. These are all space validated before, and made sure that a valve, the slosh, even the liquid in that, made it sluggish, so that it would start not overreact or go beyond the parameters. So if you look at the planning that they've done, I'm just giving you one example of the kind of testing that they've done in the last 4 years to ensure that every component. What they've also done is, but what they've realized is that they, the error calculations that we're building. Now, when we start getting initiated, right now, of course, you'll have that. When they get the exact point, the countdown sort of begins. But it's really that 18 minutes that is going to be critical. Now, in the first 11 minutes of that, what they didn't do was that they didn't have instantaneous correction. So if there was an error building, it waited for what was called the camera coastal phase. The coast phase. Which is the
by which time it would be too late.
By that time, that algorithm that was built into that software was not available for them. So you see, so what they're doing now is that they're doing instantaneous correction. And I think the most interesting thing is at each stage they built this kind of double checks. Let's sum up the thing this way. And this is what Dr. Somnath said. In Chandrayaan-2, they worked on what is called a success-oriented thing. Everything will go well and work the parameters. In Chandrayaan-3, they worked on a failure-based model, which is everything that could go wrong, they tested and made sure that they had redundancies.
Redundancies in every respect.
Right to the last, which is they have a hazard camera. The hazard detection. So if there's a boulder there and it's come out there, they've got an alternative landing space to move. So I think that's what gives the sort of confidence that this time, we would see a successful landing.
Very interesting, very interesting. Live images, by the way, of Dr. Jitendra Singh, Minister of Science and Technology, in the ISRO viewing gallery in Delhi. Remember, there are ISRO viewing galleries in different parts of the country. The main one, of course, is in Bengaluru, where India Today's team is there. Jitendra Singh is the Minister of Science and Tech in the Modi government. He's at the ISRO viewing gallery here in Delhi. I want to quickly bring Naveen also in on this. Naveen, what does today mean for guys like you. You're part of the space ecosystem, so much to achieve, so many youngsters in ISRO. You've also got skin in the game as far as what India can achieve from space programs of this kind. What's going through your mind right now? 10 minutes to go for the landing sequence to initiate.
Yes, it's just 10 minutes away, and we are so excited for this movement.
Yeah.
So, and what Sir was talking about, like Dr. Somnath mentioned, in Chandrayaan-2, there was a lot of failures. And this time, we are learning from failures, and we have double-checked everything, right, from all the phases and all. And for education, if I talk about, like, earlier, nobody was known about ISRO and all this. Everybody was talking about NASA. But now ISRO has set up something different, and it's on the top of the world.
Yeah.
The first country who is going on to the South Pole, and we have so much to talk about. Now people know about, and everybody know about ISRO. So that's going to be a new feature.
It's going to be a new feature, and ISRO is one of the most well-regarded space organizations in the world. Yes. The cost effectiveness of a space program of this kind is unparalleled, and I don't use that phrase lightly, because even if you look at the numbers, and we've been putting those numbers on our screen all day today, the budget for the Chandrayaan-3 program is less than the budget used for the film Interstellar. People have been saying that all day today, but what a lovely factoid. An actual space program cheaper than a Hollywood movie. I think nothing could be a greater tribute to the economies, the cost effectiveness that ISRO has brought to a world-class mission, which is the pride of the country and the admiration of the world. I also want to remind you that while Dr. Jitendra Singh, the Union Minister for Science and Technology, is watching the live proceedings from Delhi, India's Prime Minister is in Johannesburg, remember, for the BRICS Summit. And he, we are told, is going to be watching all the live data, the telemetry data, the first visuals that come in. He's going to have a screen there in Johannesburg as well. I don't know yet if we're going to, get to see the Prime Minister watching. Hopefully, maybe they'll send us a picture or two from the Prime Minister's office to share with all of our viewers. But remember, the Prime Minister was there in 2019 when Raj Sir and I were in Bengaluru, that famous moment where he had hugged K. Sivan, the then ISRO chief as well. We spoke to the ex-ISRO chief, and he's full of confidence this time. Many of the things that Mr. Chengappa just said, he also echoed. But lots of reactions coming in. We're standing at 5:10 now. 10 minutes to go for that landing sequence to kick off. Lots of reactions coming in. Many celebrities also taking time out to tell us what they have on their minds right now and to wish Chandrayaan well. Listen in.
अभी मैं अपने घर पे पूजा कर रहा हूँ और भगवान जी सामने हैं. ये देखिए, ये मेरा मंदिर है. और ये पूजा आज की जो है, ये चंद्रयान की सेफ लैंडिंग के लिए है. और मैं सभी भारतवासियों को अभी से ही शुभकामनाएं देना चाहता हूं और बधाई देना चाहता हूं कि आज 6:04 पर भारत इतिहास रचेगा और हमारा जो चंद्रयान-3 है वो मून पर के साउथ उस तरफ लैंड करेगा.
For India and a proud moment for each and every Indian. The kind of you feel that pride in your heart, and as an Indian, all of us, I think, right now, we're waiting to watch it. A lot of people are going to be glued watching it, and I'm going to be doing that with my boys as well, with bated breath.
We would perhaps be the first to reach there, and I understand that the world might not acknowledge this, but every Indian in his heart or her heart knows that this is a very, very great achievement, and even if we don't achieve it, that's perfectly fine. I think the attempt that we have made is stupendous. Nobody has gotten so close, especially on the dark side of the moon. We've got pictures of the dark side of the moon for the first time. So I think it's a tremendous achievement, and we are all elated, proud of whatever you have achieved, ISRO. And may God be with you. May the moon be with you.
These are great moments. We always keep talking about sports, but these are also tremendous achievements for the country. So wish them all the best.
मुझे इस बात की बहुत खुशी है, सब भारतवासियों को खुशी है कि आज हमारा विक्रम लैंडर जो स्पेस क्राफ्ट है वो चांद से बिल्कुल 100 किलोमीटर के आसपास दूर है. और ये एक बहुत बड़ी अचीवमेंट है हमारे भारत की, पूरे विश्व के लिए, पूरे यूनिवर्स के लिए, पूरे ह्यूमैनिटी के लिए. और मैं सबको मुबारकबाद देता हूँ, इसरो के चेयरमैन साहब को और उनकी पूरी टीम को.
Well, it's a historic moment for us, for every Indian, and I feel so proud that Chandrayaan-3 is going to be landing today. I cannot wait to actually go back home and watch the whole landing. You know, I think 5:20 p.m. and it's landing around 6:04, and we're like all set. We're going to be like sitting there waiting for Chandrayaan-3 to land.
Okay, breaking news coming in. The Chandrayaan lander is in its final orbit now. 30 minutes to go for the final landing sequence to begin. The initial landing phase has begun. The Chandrayaan landing phase begins at 5:44 p.m. That is final approach and descent. The Chandrayaan lander, Vikram, is now officially in final orbit around the moon. It is from this orbit that its attitude will change and it will begin a vertical descent towards the lunar surface. So everything is locked and loaded now. There's very little turning back, and there is no need because the team is exuding confidence right now. Everything is smooth sailing, the words used by ISRO to describe all the circumstances that have presented themselves so far. Okay. Akshita is with us from the viewing gallery at the ISRO headquarters in Bengaluru, where all that data is going to be coming in just a few minutes from now. 6 minutes to go, Akshita, when when hopefully we'll see those telemetric depictions of Vikram's status on that screen behind you. But currently can confirm the latest that you're bringing to us. Final orbit has been entered. Very shortly, the position, the direction of Vikram will change for that final descent.
That's right, Shiv. 6 minutes. 6 minutes to go for the live telecast to begin. And that means exactly 30 minutes to go for the landing, for the descent to actually begin. ISRO is stuck to 5:44 p.m. being the time. And yes, this is the last round around the moon. It's been on an elliptical orbit, lander Vikram on his own since the separation a few days back. And so this is the last elliptical orbit that he is on. And then he'll get closer to that spot that they've identified as the touchdown point, the south pole of the moon. The descent will begin at 5:44 p.m. Shiv. 5:44 p.m. all the way to 6:04 p.m. That's the entire duration of the moment that will make or break the Chandrayaan-3 mission, that will decide whether it's a spectacular 100% success and whether we finally, India, has a mark on the moon. So it's getting very exciting now. ISRO clearly at this point confirming with all of the news breaks that we're getting at this point that everything's on track and they're sticking perfectly to the schedule. Raj did make a point about what went wrong with Chandrayaan-2. All of that, of course, has been factored in as he gave us great detail as well. And remember that Chandrayaan-2 also, it was in the second phase of that 50 minutes of terror, which has 4 phases of descent, where things did go a bit awry. That's something that this time around they've taken care of. So hopefully we'll see all 4 stages completed. And in less than 1 hour from now, we should have that good news.
We'll be having that good news right now. And I have more good news. We're really privileged, Akshita. I'm going to come back to you in just a moment to be joined now by Mallika Sarabhai. She is the daughter of the famous Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, the person who is widely regarded as the father of India's space program, one of the greatest original icons of India's tryst with space. Mallika ji, a true privilege. Thank you for your time and thank you for joining us live here on India Today. It's wonderful to see you. We are all so proud of you, of your family, of your father. Everyone remembers him on days like this. How does it feel? I know the pride you must feel every single day, Mallika ji, but is it especially so on a day like this? It was Vikram Sarabhai's work, blood, sweat and tears over decades that has resulted in India being able to celebrate a day like this?
I today keep going back to that little 9-year-old girl who used to share this dream with Papa, and he would share it with the family, and he had a twinkle in his eye every time he used to talk about what the science can do and what space technology can do. And as a little girl, I used to always be asking him, why are you doing this? Is it to go to the moon? Is it to go to the stars? And he kept saying to me, no, it's to get us the information that can actually change this country. We're a very poor country and we need technology. We can't take 100 years to get there. And I'm sure that space research will take us there immediately. So I keep thinking of those conversations of us sitting on the carpet in our home and Papa in a kurta pajama and the twinkle in his eye and that particular very mischievous smile on his lips. And that's really where it takes me to today. Papa's dream has been fulfilled by hundreds and thousands of scientists in ISRO working every day. People talk of prayers. This is not about prayers. This is about such dedicated hard work and taking every failure as one more step towards how you can get closer. I am keeping my fingers crossed and my heart, like the rest of the nation, beats, and I'm just hoping that things will go as they should. I'm also prepared that perhaps they won't, and then that'll be just one more step towards the next stage.
Yeah. Very, very true, and well said, Malika ji. This is something that all Indians need to hear, because you, as being the daughter of Vikram Sarabhai, know that the life of space scientists reaching into the unknown is fraught with the dangers of the unexpected. We are hoping for a complete success this time. In fact, as we speak to you, Malika ji, we're getting a live feed, the first live feed of data from the from the Chandrayaan-3 spacecraft, from the Vikram lander itself. What were days like this like, Malika ji? You've seen many days like this because Vikram Sarabhai would have spent many days of criticality for India's space programs. What was he like on days like this? What would it have been like for him if he were around today?
He was always extremely calm, but he had this totally boyish excitement at the possibility of what would happen.
Yeah.
But if it didn't happen, he was not somebody to be crestfallen at all. He would, on the contrary, give courage to the rest of the team and say, come on, next step. Let's get it. We know now what went wrong and we know how to make it better. And I think it is that buoyancy that remains with me through every failure of mine as well, saying that there's always the possibility that we can make it right. And I think he would have been a mixture of being very calm, very excited, very concentrated and focused, and very much carrying his team with him. I think that was of greatest importance to him, that it wasn't him, it was his team.
Malika ji, as we speak to you, we're getting this incredible live feed of data, and it's actually a privilege to be breaking this news to our viewers while we have Vikram Sarabhai's daughter live on this broadcast. The lander is going to descend now, Malika ji, from 30 kilometers to 7 kilometers, as a matter of fact. The deceleration has begun. Those nail-biting details are being brought to our viewers live now from that data that is being beamed back from the Vikram lander, straight to the telemetry centers there. All of these are words that you're completely familiar with as the daughter of Vikram Sarabhai. So, I'm not going to, spend more time going into that. But I do want to ask you, Malika ji, as a final question, your words for students and the young out there. We've seen this incredible outpouring of celebration, public participation, puja, namaz, prayers for the Chandrayaan team today. What do you make of that as we bring our viewers this breaking news?
हार्दिक अभिनंदन और स्वागत करता हूं.
For some good news that can unite the country that is extremely divided and fragmented today, that something like this is not only a step for India, it's a step for humanity.
Yeah.
It's a step for the spirit of human beings. And I think that is where we need to concentrate. If you ask me what I say to young people, I say that science has the power of magic in transforming lives. Don't depend on the powers that be. Don't depend on institutions. You can be an engineer and create something that will transform lives. You can be a scientist and bring something forward that will transform lives. That is what we need to do today to heal this world.
Malika ji, thank you very much for joining us. Always a privilege to hear from you. We salute you. We salute your father on a day like this and your family. We're going across live now to the ISRO Center.
चंद्रमा के साउथ पोल पे सेफ और सॉफ्ट लैंडिंग करेगा. आपको ध्यान दिला दूं, इस समय हम लोग पावर डिसेंट शुरू होने से लगभग 22 मिनट दूर हैं. जो दर्शक थोड़ी देर से जुड़े हैं उनकी जानकारी के लिए बता दें, आप लोग इस ऐतिहासिक पल को इसरो के ऑफिशियल वेबसाइट, फेसबुक, ट्विटर और यूट्यूब पे भी देख सकते हैं।
Honorable dignitaries, delegates, scientists, media personnel, and dear viewers, a very good evening to all of you. We at ISRO welcome you to the live coverage of India's prestigious Chandrayaan-3 mission's landing event on the lunar surface. These are the visuals from Mission Operation Complex at ISRO's Telemetry Tracking and Command Network, ISTRAC, situated in Namma, Bengaluru, Karnataka. I, Arushi Seth, and my colleague, Dr. Padamdeo Mishra, are your hosts for the evening and shall accompany you on the journey of the landing event from powered descent start to touchdown. Today, we shall be witnessing the final phase of the critical and most technologically challenging mission operations of Chandrayaan-3, wherein the lander module will be making a safe and soft landing on the surface of the moon. These display screens show the countdown to the power descent start as well as the path that will be followed by the lander module. We are 18 minutes away from the commencement of power descent. India is at the brink of creating history as we all await with bated breath to witness the landing on Moon's south polar region.
A sense of quiet calm descends on the control center. There's going to be very, very spare commentary coming in from there. Noise levels are going to be kept to a minimum as we now await the latest live information streaming in from from the Vikram lander. Obviously, it's not going to be live video information because there will be a lag before imagery and video footage actually comes in, if any, and when ISRO chooses to actually put it out. But telemetric data will be displayed on the screen for people to understand where things are at and what the status is. In fact, I want to bring Raj Chingappa back in. Okay, we'll just go back to this and I'll come back to our guest.
किया जा रहा हो। इसरो मिशन की निश्चितता और अनिश्चितता के बीच बहुत ही महीन अंतर होता है, जिससे कि एक मिशन सफल या असफल होता है। लेकिन ना हम थके ना हम हारे। हमने पिछली कमियों को सुधारते हुए आज पूरी तरह से आश्वस्त किया है कि लैंडर मॉड्यूल निश्चित तौर पे चंद्रमा के सतह पर सेफ और सॉफ्ट लैंडिंग करेगा। सभी दर्शकों के जानकारी के लिए अब हम इसरो के अब तक के सभी लूनर मिशंस को संक्षिप्त विवरण प्रस्तुत करेंगे। जी हां, इसरो का पहला मून मिशन चंद्रयान-1 अक्टूबर 2008 में PSLV रॉकेट के द्वारा सफलतापूर्वक प्रक्षेपित किया गया था। चंद्रयान-1 ने चंद्रमा के सतह पर पानी की खोज करके पहले ही इतिहास रच चुका है। यही कारण है कि आजकल विश्व के तमाम अंतरिक्ष वैज्ञानिक और स्पेस एजेंसियां चंद्रमा को और करीब से जानने के लिए उत्सुक दिख रही हैं। अगर हम बात करें चंद्रयान-2 की, जो इसरो का दूसरा मिशन है, जुलाई 2019 में इसरो के सबसे ताकतवर रॉकेट LVM-3 द्वारा सफलतापूर्वक प्रक्षेपित किया गया था और आज भी लगभग 4 साल बाद या चंद्रमा के 100 किलोमीटर के सर्कुलर ऑर्बिट में घूमते हुए बहुत ही उत्तम
Live images coming in from inside the ISRO command center in Bengaluru. I want to bring in India Today's Bengaluru Bureau Chief Nagarjun, who is with there. He's just a few meters outside this particular place where the viewing gallery is. Naga, the telemetry data has begun to come in from the Vikram lander. 37 minutes to go for touchdown. Only a few moments to go for the, the automatic landing sequence to be initiated. The screen behind you has information. What are you hearing? What's the mood there? Only 37 minutes to go, Naga.
That's true, absolutely. 37 minutes to go and around 18 or 16 minutes to go for the power descent. At 5:44 p.m. is when the power descent will begin. We can see the scientists and at the command center have all seated in their chairs right now. Let me break down some figures for the viewers as well. When the lander reaches the designated spot where it starts its descent, it would be traveling around 6,048 kilometers per second. So that's almost more than the speed of sound as well. It's Mach 4, Mach 5 speed. That velocity will have to be reduced. For 11 minutes, starting from 5:44 p.m., there'll be rough braking system. So there'll be random loss of height. From 30 kilometers where it's orbiting right now, it will come down to 7 kilometers. So there's a loss of 23 kilometers in vertical height. And from the final landing spot, when the sequence begins, it will be around 745 kilometers away. So if, for example, say, if I'm in Bangalore right now, if the landing spot is Bangalore, the descent will begin 800 kilometers away from Bangalore as a vertical distance and as the horizontal distance, and the vertical distance is 30 kilometers. So if you draw the curve, you can imagine the height of 30 kilometers and the horizontal land distance around 745 kilometers. 11 minutes is when the rough braking phase will happen. There'll be a big reduction in height as well as covering the ground. After that, the remaining 15 minutes will be a slow descent, and final 180 seconds to 120 seconds will be the time when the radio altimeter picks up the exact spot. Radio altimeter will be the laser just coming down through the lander, picking the spot and exact the height, including nanocentimeters height will be known, and finally the landing spot will be chosen by the lander. All these commands that we are talking about, all these actions that we are talking about has been pre-fed. They just have to initiate the process. Nothing to be done because the commands have already been pre-fed. The lander knows when to fire the retro boosters. The lander knows when to start tilting towards the vertical direction. Right now it's still orbiting horizontally. It has to come down vertically, and this will be the last orbit ever of lander Chandrayaan-3.
Okay, so it's 5:29 now. So just about 15 minutes to go, Naga, before the automatic landing system engages. The 15 minutes of terror will then start, and then at 6:04 p.m., 34 minutes from now, is the scheduled touchdown. There's no turning back. The point of no return has been crossed. Chandrayaan-3 is going to be a success. This fail-safe program is now headed towards lunar history on the surface of the moon. These are live images coming to you, mind you, from the ISRO Command Center. So all of the men and women you see on your screen are all part of the Chandrayaan-3 program and are playing a very, very important role, not just in the entire program so far, but in this critical final phase, because in many people's minds, especially in the public mind, this program only boils down to what you're going to see over the next 33 minutes. While that is not strictly true, the program has achieved a great deal of success so far already and proven many things, many naysayers wrong. But it is this final thing that will be the cherry on top as far as India's space endeavors through Chandrayaan-3 are concerned. Akshita is also in that amazing viewing gallery with that big screen that has a stream of live ISRO data that's being put out directly from the Vikram lander. Akshita, 33 minutes to go. I'm sure the crowds are swelling inside that room right now. India Today's coverage is being the most watched online and on television right now. Not surprised at all, given the great voices we've had on our coverage. And now the moment of truth is before us. 33 minutes to go, Akshita.
That's right. There's a very restricted crowd in here, Shiv, tracking those updates that you see behind me. I'm going to have to keep turning back to see what's happening because I don't want to miss out on any of the action. Less than 15 minutes to go. You know, some of the data that Nagarjun is putting out for us right now of how exactly the lander is traveling, it's astounding to say the least. We're talking about 745 kilometers being covered in a matter of 15 minutes, Shiv. So can you imagine the speed at which it's traveling? And then from that kind of a speed to come to absolute stillness and then ensure that, you know, it doesn't crash land but soft land. So from 6,000 kilometers per hour, you're going to be bringing it down to stillness. And as Naga pointed out, 4 phases where the powered descent start. That's the very first phase. That's quite the longest phase of the 4. You're going to be seeing it horizontal, slowly coming vertical. By the start of the 4th phase is when it's actually vertical. So when lander Vikram is vertical, he covers very little distance actually in that. He covers just about 150 meters. And when he's vertical, it's about 800 to 1,500 meters above the lunar surface. So it's only at that point that Vikram from here goes to here. So it's a very slow but smooth operation that will be done. They don't want any jerks that brings it right up vertical, and they know full well how important that particular phase is, Shiv, because that's where Chandrayaan-2 kind of faltered. The kind of power, the engines, the thrusters that are used, which is what Raj also referred to, that's going to be most crucial. All of that will start at 5:44 p.m. What they're referring to as, in fact, the automatic landing sequence that kicks off at 5:44 p.m. 6:04. That's how long it's going to last. The details that they've given us is that from about 30 kilometers height, it's going to come right down and touch down at the surface. For so many days now, lander Vikram has been working hard, going on the elliptical orbit. He'll finally get a chance to kind of rest, put his feet down, literally onto the moon's Shiv.
11 minutes to go for the auto landing system to engage. 15 minutes of terror. 6:04 p.m. the landing. I want to just listen into some of the ISRO commentary coming in live.
Overall system performance. The largely unexplored south pole of the moon has been chosen as the intended landing site, since there is a possibility of finding ice and other minerals which would be vital resources for future explorers. Apart from continuing investigations pioneered by Chandrayaan-1 and Chandrayaan-2, the Chandrayaan-3 mission will also provide invaluable data to the science community around the world. Let us give our viewers a glimpse on the configuration of Chandrayaan-3 mission.
This is a completely unedited live raw feed from the ISRO command center that India Today is showing you on our screens right now. That's a simulation of what the landing is going to look like. There will be imagery. Viewer, we're getting a lot of messages, especially on social media, about whether there will be images of the landing once it takes place. But there will be some photographs once ISRO releases them. Remember, the lander itself has cameras. It has been taking photographs while in orbit so far. The latest images came in just yesterday of the moon's surface. Amazing images. And now there will be more in a short while from now post that landing. Let's just listen in once again. An explanation happening here of the landing sequence.
किसी भी आपदा से बाहर आकर के मिशन के मुख्य उद्देश्य को पूरा कर सके। इस क्रम में लैंडर के मुख्य सेंसर्स कारा, लासा, LHBC, LDV और LHDAG का कार्यात्मक परीक्षण भी किया जा चुका है। LDV जो कि पूर्णतः स्वदेशी तकनीकी से बनाया गया एक नया सेंसर है, इसका मुख्य कार्य लैंडर के वेलोसिटी को तीनों अक्षों में कंप्यूट करना है। पावर डिसेंट के दौरान लैंडर के सटीक पोजीशन और वेलोसिटी का ज्ञान होना बहुत ही आवश्यक है। लिराप यानी लेजर इनर्शियल रिफरेंसिंग एंड एक्सीलरोमीटर पैकेज इस कार्य को पावर डिसेंट के दौरान बखूबी निभाएगा। ट्रैजेक्टरी जनरेशन जो कि चंद्रयान-3 मिशन के लिए बहुत ही अहम है, क्योंकि हर ऑर्बिट मैन्यूवर के बाद यह सुनिश्चित किया जाता है कि लैंडर की मिशन ऑब्जेक्टिव को ना बदले। इस क्रम में मैं यह भी आपको बता दूं कि ऑर्बिट डिटर्मिनेशन जो कि उपग्रह के पोजीशन और वेलोसिटी को बहुत ही एक्यूरेटली बताता है, एक बहुत ही कठिन और जटिल कंप्यूटेशन और एस्टिमेशन होता है। यहाँ यह भी जानना महत्वपूर्ण है कि चंद्रयान-2 का OHRC पेलोड अब तक काफी ऊंचे स्तर का डैम प्रदान किया है, जिसके फलस्वरूप लैंडिंग साइट की सीमा को बढ़ाकर 4x2.4 किलोमीटर कर दिया गया है, जो कि पावर डिसेंट के दौरान सॉफ्ट लैंडिंग कराने में काफी सहायक सिद्ध होगा।
Apart from the sensors, Chandrayaan-3 is equipped with a suite of sophisticated payload instruments. While Chandrayaan-1 and Chandrayaan-2 orbiter have provided abundant remote sensing data of Moon, equally important are the on-site localized measurements that provide ground truths. Lander and rover have payloads which are completely new and will perform in situ analysis of lunar surface. The two spectroscopes on rover, APXS and LIBS, will actively measure the surface elemental abundances at the landing location and surrounding area. The lander carries a seismometer ILSA that can sense impact events and lunar quakes. The thermal probe CHAST will measure the temperature profile and thermal conductivity of Moon's regolith. The Rambha payload will carry out lunar ionosphere studies, while the laser retroreflector array shall be a passive location indicator for future spacecraft equipped with laser altimeter. The propulsion module has not been left behind, and an experimental shape payload has been added to it as a value addition. It will help in understanding the nature and characteristics of water-rich planets and will also aid in the future study of potentially habitable exoplanets. We are minutes away from the start of powered descent. The entire powered descent shall be carried out by the onboard autonomous landing sequencer, or ALS, which is a series of instructions preloaded to the lander module. These instructions include the commands to be executed, data to be collected and analyzed, and decisions to be made and executed autonomously throughout the powered descent.
जी हाँ, अब हम पावर डिसेंट के बहुत ही करीब आ चुके हैं। हम आपको बताते चलें कि पावर डिसेंट को कुल 4 चरणों में बांटा गया है। सबसे पहले आता है रफ ब्रेकिंग फेज, जिसमें लैंडर की ऊंचाई को चंद्रमा की सतह से 30 किलोमीटर से घटाकर 7.4 किलोमीटर कर दिया जाएगा। इस पूरी प्रक्रिया को पूरा करने में लगभग 11.5 मिनट लगेगा और इसका समानांतर वेग 1680 मीटर प्रति सेकंड से घटाकर 358 मीटर प्रति सेकंड हो जाएगा।
We have continuous flow of lander telemetry data from ISRO's Deep Space Network IDSN-32 located in Belalu, Bengaluru. The data is being acquired real-time by station and is flown to the Mission Operation Complex through our communication links. In addition to it, we also have support from ESA and JPL DSN stations. There will be no ground intervention once the ALS takes charge. The preparation for today's event had started 48 hours before, wherein various pre-selections and uplinking of parameters for the autonomous landing sequence were carried out. The whole descent is divided into 4 phases: the rough braking phase, the attitude hold phase, fine braking phase, and the local navigation phase or the terminal descent phase.
जी हाँ, एटीट्यूड होल्ड फेज, जो कि पावर डिसेंट का दूसरा चरण है, एक बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण फेज है। इस 10 सेकंड के स्मॉल ड्यूरेशन के दौरान लैंडर के 2 महत्वपूर्ण सेंसर कारा और लासा लैंडर की ऊंचाई की गणना करेंगे। इस फेज के पूरा होते ही लैंडर चंद्रमा के सतह से कुल 6.8 किलोमीटर की ऊंचाई पर होगा।
During the rough braking phase, the lander velocity shall be brought down from 1,680 meters per second to 358 meters per second. The altitude will be brought down from 30 kilometers to 7.4 kilometers at the end of rough braking. Currently, we can see the scientists are analyzing the lander data.
जी हाँ, हम ये देख सकते हैं कि मिशन ऑपरेशन कॉम्प्लेक्स रूप में बैठे सभी वैज्ञानिक ये जो भी डेटा देख रहे हैं वो डीप स्पेस नेटवर्क IDSN-32 के द्वारा प्रोवाइड किया जा रहा है। और अगर हम अब बात करें पावर डिसेंट के तीसरे चरण का, जो कि फाइन ब्रेकिंग फेज होगा, जिसमें लैंडर लैंडिंग साइट से जस्ट 800 मीटर की ऊंचाई पर वर्टिकली होगा। इस चरण को पूरा होने में लगभग 3 मिनट लगेंगे और इस चरण के पूरा होते ही लैंडर की वेलोसिटी लगभग 0 हो जाएगी।
The scientists here at ISRO are glued to their systems, analyzing all sorts of complex data. We are very close to the powered descent, to the start of the powered descent phase.
जी हाँ, अगर हम अब बात करें पावर डिसेंट के चौथे और अंतिम चरण का, जो कि लोकल नेविगेशन फेज या टर्मिनल डिसेंट फेज भी कहा जाता है, इस दौरान लैंडर के 2 इंजन बंद कर दिए जाएंगे और लैंडर के सेंसरों द्वारा इसके हाइट और वेलोसिटी की गणना इनर्शियल नेविगेशन को भेज दिया जाएगा। इस दौरान लैंडर 150 मीटर की ऊंचाई को प्राप्त करने के बाद कुल 131 सेकंड लगाएगा। इस पड़ाव पे आने के बाद पुनः लैंडर 22 सेकंड के लिए हॉवरिंग करेगा। आप इस समय अपने स्क्रीन पे मिशन ऑपरेशन कॉम्प्लेक्स में बैठे सभी मान्यगणों को देख सकते हैं, जो कि बहुत ही उत्सुकता के साथ टेलीमेट्री डेटा को देख रहे हैं। अभी हम लोग पावर डिसेंट शुरू होने से जस्ट कुछ ही पल दूर हैं। पावर डिसेंट शुरू होने में लगभग 30 सेकंड ही बचा है और हमको ये सारे डेटा मिशन ऑपरेशन कॉम्प्लेक्स रूम में आईडीएसएन 32 के द्वारा, जो कि लगातार लैंडर के कनेक्शन में बना हुआ है, प्रदान कर रहा है।
Dear viewers, the pivotal power descent has begun and the lander module is propelling towards the moon's surface along the intended trajectory.
जी हाँ, अब हम देख सकते हैं रफ ब्रेकिंग फेज की शुरुआत हो चुकी है।
During this rough braking phase, the lander velocity shall be brought down from 1,680 meters per second to 358 meters per second. The altitude will be brought down from 30 kilometers to 7.4 kilometers at the end of rough braking. All this in the duration of 690 seconds or 11.5 minutes. Currently, the Laser Inertial Reference and Accelerometer package (LIRAP) is aiding in the navigation.
जी हाँ, अभी आप अपनी स्क्रीन पे देख सकते हैं कि लैंडर अब तक कुल 191 किलोमीटर हॉरिजेंटल दिशा में चल चुका है और अभी तक इसकी वेलोसिटी लगभग 31 किलोमीटर बनी हुई है।
The lander module has traveled a distance of approximately 228 kilometers. The complete downrange that will be traveled during this phase shall be nearly 713.5 kilometers.
जी हाँ, कुल 745 किलोमीटर के इस रफ ब्रेकिंग फेज में आप देख सकते हैं कि हम लोग लगभग अपनी यात्रा 20% कंप्लीट कर चुके हैं। पावर डिसेंट की यह शुरुआत हम कह सकते हैं कि बहुत ही सटीक और सधी हुई है, जिसमें लैंडर अपने वेगमान को अनुमानित तरीके से घटा रहा है।
The altitude of the lander module will reduce from 7.4 kilometers to 6.8 kilometers. During the next phase, which is going to be the attitude hold phase, we can currently see that the altitude of the lander module is nearly 31 kilometers.
आरुषि, अभी हम इस ग्राउंड ट्रेस को देखते हुए कह सकते हैं कि रफ ब्रेकिंग फेज की शुरुआत बहुत ही अच्छे तरीके से हुई है। आप ये देख सकती हैं कि जो भी प्रोजेक्टेड ग्राउंड ट्रेस है उसी पे अपना लैंडर मॉड्यूल आगे चलते हुए बढ़ रहा है। अभी तक ये देखा जा सकता है कि लैंडर मॉड्यूल लगभग 370 किलोमीटर क्षैतिज दिशा में चल चुका है।
The mission operations team is analyzing the data. We can all see the seriousness and the concentration with which each and every parameter of the lander module is being analyzed. The performance so far seems to be nominal.
जी आरुषि, चूंकि एएलएस एक्टिवेट किया जा चुका है इसलिए ग्राउंड से कोई कमांडिंग नहीं की जा रही है। इस दौरान आपके स्क्रीन पे ये सारे डेटा इसरो के डीप स्पेस नेटवर्क से रियल टाइम में आ रहे हैं। इस मिशन में सेकेंड और थर्ड ऑर्डर गाइडेंस पॉलिनोमियल का प्रयोग हुआ है जो कि इनर्शियल थ्रस्ट और एंगल के हमेशा सुनिश्चित करेगा।
During the entire descent, there is no ground intervention as the ALS has taken charge. The preparation for today's event had started nearly 48 hours before, wherein various pre-selections and uplinking of parameters were done. We can see that the vertical velocity of the lander module has been brought down. It is continuously coming down. And the ALS had already been initiated 1 hour before the scheduled time of the power descent start. Following this, the throttleable engine electronics module, the TECM, was switched on and lander was oriented to the favorable attitude.
जी हाँ, आप अपनी स्क्रीन पे देख सकते हैं कि लैंडर मॉड्यूल जिसकी शुरुआत में वेलोसिटी 1680 मीटर पर सेकंड थी, लगभग 1150 मीटर पर सेकंड हो चुकी है, जो कि एक बहुत ही मैजेस्टिक शुरुआत कही जा सकती है इस रफ ब्रेकिंग फेज के लिए। यहाँ पे मैं आपको ये भी बताते चलूं कि आप अपने स्क्रीन पे देख सकते हैं कि द लैंडर मॉड्यूल का आल्टीट्यूड धीरे धीरे अब कम होता हुआ दिख रहा है और जो कि एक्सपेक्टेड भी है। अभी हम बात करें करंट आल्टीट्यूड की तो जो कि 28.6 किलोमीटर के आसपास है।
आप स्क्रीन पर ये भी देख सकते हैं Chandrayaan-3 lander imager display. The lander imager is continuously taking photographs of the moon's surface, and that is also being streamed here. Currently the horizontal velocity has been brought down and the distance traveled is 574 kilometers. The current altitude is 27 kilometers as can be seen on the screen.
जी हाँ, करीब अपने आधे सफर को पूरा करते हुए इस रफ ब्रेकिंग फेज में लैंडर बहुत ही आगे की तरफ बढ़ते हुए अपनी ऊंचाई को घटा रहा है। अगर अब बात करें तो लैंडर की ऊंचाई चंद्रमा के सतह से लगभग 27 किलोमीटर से नीचे हो चुकी है, करीब 26.7 किलोमीटर के आसपास है।
The next phase after the rough braking phase is the attitude hold phase, which will be for a duration of nearly 10 seconds. The lander will be oriented such that both the altimeters will be looking exactly towards the moon's surface. At the end of this attitude hold phase, height measurement update to navigation system will be given from the laser and car band altimeters. Currently, we are in the middle of the rough braking phase.
जी हाँ, अगर हम ध्यान से देखें तो लगभग 8 मिनट की यात्रा के बाद लैंडर अपनी हॉरिजॉन्टल वेलोसिटी को लगातार कम करते हुए अपनी ऊंचाई अभी की ऊंचाई के समय 24 किलोमीटर की ऊंचाई प्राप्त कर चुका है। अब तक के आंकड़े को देखते हुए हम कह सकते हैं कि लैंडिंग पूरी तरह से नॉमिनल है। यहाँ पर हम देख सकते हैं कि हॉरिजॉन्टल वेलोसिटी लगातार कम होती हुई दिख रही है। The altitude of lander from ground is currently 22 kilometer, which is again going to be coming down, and that is expected.
For the viewers who have joined now, we are in the power descent phase, and we are in the rough braking phase, which is the first phase of the power descent. We have currently traveled a downrange of 697 kilometers, and the downrange that has to be traveled during this phase is 713.5 kilometers.
जी हाँ, अभी आप देख सकते हैं कि लैंडर की हॉरिजेंटल वेलोसिटी लगभग 720 मीटर प्रति सेकंड हो गई है। लगभग हम ये कह सकते हैं कि 900 मीटर प्रति सेकंड वेलोसिटी को कम किया जा चुका है। At the same time, we can see the altitude of the lander is just 17.8 kilometer from the moon surface, which is going to be around 7.4 at the end of the rough braking phase.
इस फेज के बाद हम जाएंगे towards the attitude hold phase, where we will be expecting sensor update from the laser and car band altimeters. We can see the visualization of the lander module moving towards the moon's surface. The current altitude is nearly 15.2 kilometers, and the distance traveled is 754 kilometers. We can also see the image that the lander imager camera has been providing.
जी हाँ, इस रफ ब्रेकिंग फेज के दौरान 800 न्यूटन के चारों थ्रोटल इंजन अपने कार्य को पूरी तरह से अंजाम दे रहे हैं और लैंडर के हॉरिजॉन्टल वेलोसिटी को लगातार कम कर रहे हैं। अब तक लैंडर लगभग अपने 75 से 80% की यात्रा को पूरा कर चुका है।
After the rough braking and the attitude hold phase, we shall be having the fine braking phase, which will continue for nearly 3 minutes. The whole phase is being driven by the autonomous landing sequencer, and there is no intervention from ground.
जी हाँ आरुषि, अभी आप अपनी स्क्रीन पे देख सकती हैं कि जो करंट आल्टीट्यूड है चंद्रमा के सतह से लगभग 10 किलोमीटर के आसपास है। जी हाँ, हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी हम सभी का उत्साहवर्धन करने के लिए दक्षिणी अफ्रीका के जोहान्सबर्ग से जुड़ गए हैं।
Okay, 9 minutes to go for touchdown. It looks like everything is going absolutely well. You can see a window on the top right-hand side of your screen of the Prime Minister. We're wondering whether there's going to be a video message from him as soon as the touchdown is complete. 80% of the lander's journey is complete. These final 9 minutes are going to be absolutely crucial, viewer. The autonomous landing system has taken over. Power descent is on. The rough braking phase is over. The fine braking is going to take place. The Prime Minister is going to be tuning in. He's watching all of this in Johannesburg. Let's go straight back to the ISRO commentary live. Let's go straight back.
इसके उपरांत लगभग 800 मीटर हो जाएगी।
We can hear from the mission operations team that the sensors are performing nominally. And we are currently in the midst of the fine braking phase, which is going to continue for 3 minutes. And the altitude is going to be reduced to nearly 800 meters at the end of this phase.
जी हाँ, जैसा कि आरुषि जी ने बताया कि लगभग 3 मिनट के उपरांत लैंडर की हाइट लगभग 800 मीटर वर्टिकली होगी और यहाँ पे लैंडर की हॉरिजेंटल वेलोसिटी
8 minutes to go for that landing. We can confirm to you, viewer, that the Prime Minister has just logged in. He's watching all of this live from Johannesburg. The fine braking of the lander is taking place right now.
831 kilometers.
जी हाँ, आप अपनी स्क्रीन पे देख सकते हैं कि लैंडर की ऊंचाई अब चंद्रमा की सतह से लगभग 3 किलोमीटर से कम हो चुकी है।
We are very close to the moon's surface, nearly 2.6 kilometers as we can see.
Absolutely tantalizing moments, viewer. The final fine braking process is currently underway. The mood at the ISRO command center is absolutely electric. No smiles yet, but they're all clapping. The Prime Minister apparently has logged in. There you see him, the live images. The Prime Minister has logged in from Johannesburg. He's in contact with the ISRO command center as well. For these final minutes, the Prime Minister is going to be there. You can see all the live positional data on the screen right next to where the Prime Minister is. This is a feed which we don't have control of. The ISRO is sending it to us, so I wish we could, focus it. There you go. That's the crucial one. Live images of, of the moon surface from the hazard camera on the Vikram lander with the information.
जी हाँ, अब हम फाइन ब्रेकिंग वेव के एकदम करीब आ चुके हैं। हाँ, आप तालियों के गड़गड़ाहट से सुन सकते हैं कि हम लोगों ने तीसरे चरण को भी बहुत ही सफलतापूर्वक हासिल कर लिया है और अभी हम वर्टिकल डिसेंट फेज में आ चुके हैं, जिसकी शुरुआत भी बहुत ही अच्छे ढंग से हो चुकी है।
Lot of applause indicates that till now the performance has been nominal. We are in the vertical descent phase 1. The altitude is being brought down from 800 meters and we are nearing and approaching the lunar surface.
जी, आप अपनी स्क्रीन पे देख सकते हैं कि
the Vikram lander has just crossed a barrier that it was unable to cross during the Chandrayaan-3 mission. The very sequence that had bedeviled the Chandrayaan-2 has been successfully completed by the Chandrayaan-3 lander. It is about to begin its final descent towards the moon surface now. This is now the final descent. The smiles have appeared on people's faces. Let's listen in.
As well as the vertical velocity is now being constantly reduced. And the lander module has begun its descent towards the landing site.
जी हाँ, आप अपने
40 meters, this is now final. The last few minutes of this descent are currently on, viewer. The vertical velocity is dropping. The altitude is now only 180 meters. And as you can see in that live telemetric data, that simulated data, a depiction, the lunar surface is right below the Vikram lander. 4 minutes to go for completion. That landing is likely to be executed, a few seconds before or after. It's a rough time. But this is the final approach right now. You can count the number of minutes on one hand of how long it's going to take for this to be completed. 140 meters. This is ending really, really, really well so far. Let's just listen in once again to what ISRO is telling us.
इन सारे वैज्ञानिकों के द्वारा की जा रही है। जी हाँ, आप अगर फिर से ध्यान से देखें तो एल्टीट्यूड पुनः कम होता जा रहा है। अभी हम लोग लगभग 135 मीटर की ऊंचाई पे हैं।
The sensors that are
meters,
updating at this point
121, 118, 112, barely 100 meters to go for the moon landing, viewer. There is an absolutely electric atmosphere inside the ISRO command center. The Prime Minister has tuned in. Live pictures of the Prime Minister. He's got a smile on his face. 65 meters to go for that touchdown. Everything is going beautifully at this point of time. I can only imagine the emotions, what's going through the minds of all of our scientists there at the ISRO command center.
At zero velocity, vertical and horizontal. We were hovering now, and now we are approaching the moon's surface.
धीरे-धीरे लैंडर
vertical velocity is nearly zero. It's about 2 meters per second, 47 meters. The lander has basically become like a helicopter now. It is just hovering above the surface. 31 meters, 25 meters, 23 meters, 22 meters, 20 meters above the surface. This is it. Hold on to your seatbelts, viewer. This is it. This is the moment of truth. The Prime Minister is watching live. And here you have Vikram lander about to kiss the surface of the moon.
लैंडर मॉड्यूल
People are applauding. Let us all wait to hear from the Secretary Department of Space and Chairman ISRO, Shri S. Somnath.
लैंडर मॉड्यूल पूरी तरह से सेफली और सॉफ्टली चंद्रमा के सतह पे लैंड हो चुका है। ये हम लोगों के लिए बहुत ही गर्व की बात है। हिंदी में एक कहावत है कि चंदा मामा दूर के, लेकिन अब हम ये कह सकते हैं कि चंदा मामा अपने घर के।
बहुत ही उम्दा। The hard work of the entire ISRO community has come to fruition.
आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी, नमस्कार। Sir, we have achieved soft landing on the moon. India is on the moon. Sir, I request our Honorable Prime Minister to address us and bless us. Thank you, sir.
मेरे प्यारे परिवारजनों, जब हम अपनी आंखों के सामने ऐसा इतिहास बनते हुए देखते हैं तो जीवन धन्य हो जाता है। ऐसी ऐतिहासिक घटनाएं राष्ट्र जीवन की चिरंजीव चेतना बन जाती है। ये पल अविस्मरणीय है। ये क्षण अभूतपूर्व है। ये क्षण विकसित भारत के शंखनाद का है। ये क्षण नए भारत के जयघोष का है। ये क्षण मुश्किलों के महासागर को पार करने का है। ये क्षण जीत के चंद्र पथ पर चलने का है। ये क्षण 140 करोड़ धड़कनों के सामर्थ्य का है। ये क्षण भारत में नई ऊर्जा, नया विश्वास, नई चेतना का है। ये क्षण भारत के उदयमान भाग्य के आह्वान का है। अमृत काल की प्रथम प्रभा में सफलता की ये अमृत वर्षा हुई है। हमने धरती पर संकल्प लिया और चांद पर उसे साकार किया। और हमारे वैज्ञानिक साथियों ने भी कहा, इंडिया इज नाउ ऑन द मून। आज हम अंतरिक्ष में नए भारत की नई उड़ान के साक्षी बने हैं। साथियों, मैं इस समय ब्रिक्स समिट में हिस्सा लेने के लिए दक्षिण अफ्रीका में हूं, लेकिन हर देशवासी की तरह मेरा मन चंद्रयान महाअभियान पर भी लगा हुआ था। नया इतिहास बनते ही हर भारतीय जश्न में डूब गया है। हर घर में उत्सव शुरू हो गया है। हृदय से मैं भी अपने देशवासियों के साथ, अपने परिवारजनों के साथ इस उमंग और उल्लास से जुड़ा हुआ हूं। मैं टीम चंद्रयान को, इसरो को और देश के सभी वैज्ञानिकों को जी जान से बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूं, जिन्होंने इस पल के लिए वर्षों तक इतना परिश्रम किया है। उत्साह, उमंग, आनंद और भावुकता से भरे इस अद्भुत पल के लिए मैं 140 करोड़ देशवासियों को भी कोटि कोटि बधाइयां देता हूं। मेरे परिवारजनों, हमारे वैज्ञानिकों के परिश्रम और प्रतिभा से भारत चंद्रमा के उस दक्षिणी ध्रुव पर पहुंचा है, जहां आज तक दुनिया का कोई भी देश नहीं पहुंच सका। अब आज के बाद से चांद से जुड़े मिथक बदल जाएंगे, कथानक भी बदल जाएंगे और नई पीढ़ी के लिए कहावतें भी बदल जाएगी। भारत में तो हम सभी लोग धरती को मां कहते हैं और चांद को मामा बुलाते हैं। कभी कहा जाता था, चंदा मामा बहुत दूर के हैं। चंदा मामा बहुत दूर के हैं। अब एक दिन वो भी आएगा जब बच्चे कहा करेंगे, चंदा मामा बस एक टूर के हैं। Friends, on this joyous occasion, I would like to address all the people of the world, the people of every country and region. India's successful moon mission is not just India's alone. This is a year in which the world is witnessing India's G20 presidency. Our approach of one earth, one family, one future is resonating across the globe. This human-centric approach that we present and that we represent has been welcomed universally. Our moon mission is also based on the same human-centric approach. Therefore, this success belongs to all of humanity, and it will help moon missions by other countries in the future. I am confident that all countries in the world, including those from the global south, are capable of achieving such feats. We can all aspire for the moon and beyond. मेरे परिवारजनों, चंद्रयान महाअभियान के ये उपलब्धि भारत की उड़ान को चंद्रमा की कक्षाओं से आगे जाएगी। हम हमारे सौर मंडल की सीमाओं का सामर्थ्य परखेंगे और मानव के लिए ब्रह्मांड की अनेक संभावनाओं को साकार करने के लिए भी जरूर काम करेंगे। हमने भविष्य के लिए कई बड़े और महत्वाकांक्षी लक्ष्य तय किए हैं। जल्द ही सूर्य के विस्तृत अध्ययन के लिए इसरो आदित्य L1 मिशन लॉन्च करने जा रहा है। इसके बाद शुक्र भी इसरो के लक्ष्यों में से एक है। गगनयान के जरिए देश अपने पहले ह्यूमन स्पेस फ्लाइट मिशन के लिए भी पूरी तैयारी के साथ जुटा है। भारत बार बार ये साबित कर रहा है कि स्काई इज नॉट द लिमिट। साथियों, साइंस और टेक्नोलॉजी देश के उज्जवल भविष्य का आधार है। इसलिए आज के इस दिन को देश हमेशा हमेशा के लिए याद रखेगा। यह दिन हम सभी को एक उज्जवल भविष्य की ओर बढ़ने के लिए प्रेरित करेगा। ये दिन हमें अपने संकल्पों की सिद्धि का रास्ता दिखाएगा। ये दिन इस बात का प्रतीक है कि हार से सबक लेकर जीत कैसे हासिल की जाती है। एक बार फिर देश के सभी वैज्ञानिकों को बहुत बहुत बधाई और भविष्य के मिशन के लिए ढेरों शुभकामनाएं। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
From ISRO, India congratulates ISRO. India today congratulates ISRO, the men and women. Let's listen in.
To this success, and let me take this opportunity to thank the people behind this mission, the project director of Chandrayaan-3. He is here. Vikram, congratulations to you. The associate project director, Kalpana, and the mission operations director, Sriharikota. And the satellite was built at your house satellite center, Shankar, and the director. Thank you, sir. Hello.
It's a great moment of happiness on behalf of team. It gives me immense satisfaction on achieving this goal as a project director of this mission. The entire mission operations, right from launch till landing, happened flawlessly as per the timeline, and we became the 4th country to land to demonstrate the soft landing onto the moon surface, and we became the first country to go to near to the south pole of the moon. I take this opportunity. I take this opportunity to thank navigation, guidance and control team, propulsion team, sensors team and all the mainframe subsystems team who have brought success to this mission. I also take the opportunity to thank the Critical Operations Review Committee for thoroughly reviewing the mission operations right from launch till this date. The target was on spot because of the review process. I also thank the ISRO higher management, right from Chairman ISRO, Director URSC and all the center directors and higher ISRO officials. And finally, my thanks to the Chandrayaan-3 project executives spread across the ISRO centers. Thank you.
Mission Director Srikanth.
It gives me an immense pleasure to be part of Chandrayaan-3 and acting as Mission Director. I would like to thank each and every team member who has supported in carrying out all the mission operations flawlessly. And I would like to thank my senior management, Chairman ISRO, Director URSC, my senior colleagues and my team members for carrying out and supporting all the things carrying out in a proper way. Thank you very much.
Associate Project Director Kalpana.
Good evening to all. This will remain the most memorable and the happiest moment for all of us, for our team Chandrayaan-3. We have achieved our goal flawlessly from the day we started rebuilding our spacecraft after Chandrayaan-2 experience. It has been breathe in, breathe out Chandrayaan-3 for our team. And starting from the reconfiguration to all the special tests and the simulations we have conducted meticulously, and this has been possible only because of our immense effort from our Chandrayaan-3 team, and of course with the guidance from our Chairman ISRO, our directors and all our experts. With all this, it has been possible. Thank you one and all. Thank you for all the minutest help which has been provided from all the areas of departments. Thank you. Thank you.
Now, Chandrayaan-3 is a result of the work done by thousands of scientists, engineers, our staff and industries and support team across ISRO and other places, other institutions. And Shankaran has been the lead of the center which integrated all of these efforts in the last so many years. So I request him to speak on behalf of all of you.
Thank you very much for the affection that has been displayed today now. Today, we have achieved what we set out to achieve in 2019. It was delayed by about 4 years, but we have done it. When Chandrayaan-3 was launched, after the separation of the spacecraft from launch vehicle, I said, I will speak the rest of the things after the soft landing. So here I will take a couple of minutes to tell the tremendous amount of effort that has been put in by the entire project team. When I say project team, it is not just only the project director and associate project director. Of course, they are the face of the project. They have been living, sleeping, eating, breathing Chandrayaan for the last 4 years. They have been supported by such a large number of people, particularly in the navigation, guidance and control area, propulsion system. This area, the amount of effort that has been put by people, the number of simulations that have been done, the number of reviews they have gone through, the amount of criticism they faced and overcome that. It is, as a person who has been watching this for the last 4 years along with them, my heart goes out for them. The amount of effort is tremendous. That is what ISRO is all about. That is what our organization has taught us to do. Now today this success has put us even more higher responsibility, as the Honorable Prime Minister was telling, because we have set the bar now so high. Nothing less than nothing less spectacular than this is going to be inspiring for any of us in the future. So as the Honorable Prime Minister mentioned, we will be now looking at putting the man in space, putting a spacecraft around Venus and landing a craft in Mars. Work on all these activities are going on for few years, and this success today will inspire us and will spur us to take those efforts even more strongly, so that we will make our country proud again and again and again. Thank you very much for every one of you who have directly or indirectly participated in this mission, encouraged us, intentionally or unintentionally helped us in all for every one of you. A big thank you, because even casual remark, an unintended point can help a person who is striving to reach a goal. The person who is making that remark may not have meant it that way, but sometimes it can ignite that's why I said that even unintended help is very, very, very welcome, and we are very, very thankful for that. Thank you, Team ISRO, for supporting all of us. The amount of affection we received when this mission came into this final stage, the number of people who gave us confidence that nothing can go wrong and this is going to be successful. In fact, I was not that much confident, because we have seen a couple of times issues, because I know very well as a person who has been doing in this domain for 36 years, I know there are thousands of things. Any of that can anytime go wrong and derail. But so many of the people, because that I only see as the reflection of the effort we have put, that people are so happy to see this effort, and they want us to succeed. It is not that they know that we are going to succeed. The people want us to succeed. So thank you very much for everyone, for your love and affection. We will continue to do our best and make our flag fly, ISRO's as well as India's flag fly high. Thank you very much.
Honorable Prime Minister called me and conveyed his greetings to each one of you and your family, for the wonderful work you did in ISRO. So thanks to him for the support that he is giving to us for missions like Chandrayaan-3 and the missions that are in the offing. I think that's a great word of comfort that we are receiving for pursuing the inspirational work that we are doing for the nation. I want to tell you, and I want to thank you also for each and everyone who prayed with us in the last many days, who wanted this success to happen in ISRO. I thank all those people all around the country and maybe beyond the country for their blessings and wishes and affection that he has given to each one of us for doing this work for the last so many years. I want to specifically thank some senior people who have been standing with us, especially the name of Kiran Kumar sir and Mr. Kamalakar, Sriharikota Rao. They have been helping so much. They were part of the team to help them to get the confidence and get the reviews done to ensure that nothing goes with any mistakes. And of course, this is not the work of us alone. This is a work of a generation of ISRO leadership and ISRO scientists. And this is a journey we started in Chandrayaan-1, continued in Chandrayaan-2, and Chandrayaan-2 craft is still working and doing a lot of communication work with us. And all the team that contributed to building Chandrayaan-1 and Chandrayaan-2 should be remembered and thanked while we celebrate Chandrayaan-3. And this is an incremental progress and definitely a great, huge one it is. And thank you so much for all the support and work that you have done. Thank you.
Total jubilation at the ISRO Command Center. The men and women of Team Chandrayaan, of ISRO, of the allied departments and projects in absolute ecstasy right now. Nobody can describe in words what they're feeling. Let's just get some natural sound in.
India moment. From the beginning of our coverage, we've been emphasizing how the project is built for failure, and now it's designed in a way that it successfully landed on the surface of the moon. Let's just go across to the former ISRO chief, K. Sivan. He's speaking at this time. He's the one who broke down in tears last time. Those were of sorrow. Now I see some tears of joy.
Definitely, because this Chandrayaan-3, the science data, it is not only for India, it is for the global scientists. So this data that the scientists will be using globally, and they will discover some new things from this data. That way, it is interest for the entire global interest is there.
So you are very much thankful and you look very happy at this point of time, sir.
Yes, sir. Let us see this one.
And these are those final telemetry images of the Vikram lander right before it touched down. These were relayed live just before the Prime Minister logged in from Johannesburg, where he's attending the BRICS summit. He just gave a long speech. We'll play out an excerpt from the Prime Minister's speech in just a moment. But these were those last tantalizing seconds before the touchdown took place. I don't think the ISRO officers, men and women of ISRO, are going to be leaving that command center in a hurry. Hopefully, they're going to get some time off to celebrate and, exhale. Many of them have been in absolute crunch mode for the last 2 months. Even before the launch of the Chandrayaan-3 actually happened. And that's why these are the purest emotions you're seeing from ISRO headquarters.
Let's spend a moment talking about what happens next. Raj Chingappa, the rover has landed. This is when Pragyan now comes out. We heard some horror stories yesterday of what happened on the Mars, where it got stuck in parachutes and overturned. So it's not over just yet. The 14-day mission of the Pragyan, then roaming across the surface of the moon, has to commence in a couple of hours from now.
Well, firstly, Rahul, it's a great leap for Indian space.
Of course.
And you remember when we were talking last night, I'd made a bet of a champagne that they will land successfully.
But I wasn't betting against you. No,
you didn't take it. I would be
so we're having the champagne together.
But yeah, I think the major mission is accomplished in the sense landing itself is such a specialized skill. And India becoming the 4th nation to do that. We saw how tough it was, because even Russia, that had done it 47 years ago, its 25th lunar crashes, right? And so therefore this achievement is even more sort of creditable. And let's take a look at what happens after this. Firstly, we have to study, once it is landed, that everything is stable. And I gather from the cheers that are there, it's not tilting, it's not doing any of the antics that it should. So therefore, it's being stable. Now you wait for the power to build. And then in the next 6-7 hours, the rover, whenever they think it's fine, that everything is stable, there's no dust. You see, one of the things that's the spacecraft, yes. And because of the lack of gravity, the dust doesn't settle for, unlike on Earth. This will take an hour for it to settle. It just floats in the air. And if any of that gets into the critical equipment inside, then it will begin to damage it. So the first thing to ensure that is over. Then they will check all the systems, because you have solar panels. You will check whether the power is fine, the battery is working. When after all, it comes and crashes like this. right? And what happens is they're wonderful shock absorbers at the landing pads that's there. They're actually built of aluminium, made of honeycomb. So when it hits, it crushes this, and you've got pistons that hold it together. We hope that that system worked, right? Then what happens is you have this whole system of the lander, the rover coming out of it, which is a very, very tricky thing.
Will we get to see it? Shiv, what's fascinating, and you're such a tech geek yourself, all of it captured. These are not dots on a black screen which you just follow and imagine to be something. You're almost seeing it as is on your screen live.
I love the hazard camera footage that Raj and I were looking at, just before the landing took place. Fabulous, because in Chandrayaan-2 that wasn't there. So those live video footage that we were afforded this time wasn't there the last time. It was actually like watching the sequence, which basically means, I think, and Mr. Chengappa can correct me if I'm wrong, that at some point of time, the next few hours or maybe even tomorrow, ISRO will be in a position to release a full bit of footage of that actual landing, right from the rough braking phase to the landing.
Yeah, what you would have is a certain camera that is looking down there, the hazard camera, which will come down. You'll see it a soft landing on this. Now, what will happen is that I think we were chatting during that particular period where you wanted to say something.
I want to go across just at this moment live to Akshita, Nandgopal, and to Nagarjun, Dwarkanath. There are boots on the ground at the ISRO headquarters near Bengaluru. Akshita and Nagarjun, we were dancing and celebrating in the newsroom. Describe the scenes where you were at in the ISRO headquarters.
Well, it was pretty much the same, Rahul. I must tell you that this is a memory that is etched in my mind forever. I was lucky enough to be here at the ISRO headquarters, and what a beautiful moment to be a part of. I can't stop beaming with pride, honestly, and I know that's the case with you, Naga, as well. There's going to be a press conference in a bit, yes?
In any moment, ISRO chairman would be addressing a press conference here, and I'm doubly happy because I saw in 2019, I was right here reporting for India Today what happened. Then it was 12 post-midnight, 12 o'clock in the midnight when we heard the sad news that it was only partial success. But this time around, we saw that whole, including the media were cheering for Chandrayaan-3 landing. So it was quite an overwhelming feeling for all of us. But like Mr. Raj Chengappa was talking about rover coming out, Pragyan, we have been told from ISRO scientists that it will take 2 to 4 hours for the rover Pragyan to come out of the lander because of the dust. The gravitational pull is quite low compared to Earth, so it would not instantly settle. The dust should settle between 2 to 4 hours is what we are told. The rover Pragyan will come out any time between 2 to 4 hours, and then they'll check the solar panels. It'll work for 1 lunar day, that is 14 Earth days. And ISRO is trying something else this time. They want to make sure they charge the batteries enough within the 14 days. Again, use it for another 14 days for the next sunrise, so that in one project they're going to use for 2 cycles. That's the plan as of now. Hopefully, if at all the batteries are charged, we'll have almost 28 days of Pragyan doing experiments on the lunar surface. And what's the critical point in this experiment is water molecules. Because the South Pole doesn't receive large part of the sunlight, the scientists feel that tons and tons of ice are still in the lunar surface, and that would be a big invention or scientific invention for all of us, not just Indians, for humanity, that is water on the moon.
It's why the NASA, ESA, everyone has been watching this. They were all international channels that had cut live to this particular moment when the touchdown happened. You can hear the audio checks happening behind us, Rahul, and that's because they're getting set for the ISRO chief and everyone else to come here. We'll for sure get them live on India Today.
So when they're talking, Raj, about water on the moon, what kind of water is it? Is it water in the way that we imagine it on Earth?
Well, it's water ice, really. Okay, and in fact, when Chandrayaan-1 went up, we had an impactor probe that crashed onto this South Pole, and that was the first time they really knew. Funnily, people have been on the moon for the last 60 years, while America has even collected samples. But that area, the South Pole, has not been explored.
Which is what makes this mission so special.
It very special. And what happens, why is water so important? Because if we need to go there and spend time, colonize us, set up a colony over there, firstly, we need water. With those water, you can split into hydrogen and oxygen. Hydrogen gives you fuel. So what happens, like I was mentioning, because there's no atmosphere, here, when we have to send up a rocket, we have this giant rocket to boost any spacecraft over there. If you're launching from the moon, you do not need that kind of, fuel to do that kind of stuff.
BJP President JP Nadda speaking at this moment. Let's listen.
Launch मिशनों को अंजाम दिया है, जिसमें से 47 अंतरिक्ष मिशन श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी की सरकार ने 9 सालों में लॉन्च किए हैं। इतने मिशन किसी भी सरकार ने लॉन्च नहीं हुए थे। यह यूपीए की सरकार में लॉन्च मिशन की संख्या से दुगना है। एक साथ 104 सैटेलाइट को अंतरिक्ष में स्थापित करना हो या सार्क देशों के लिए सैटेलाइट छोड़ना हो, आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में कई कीर्तिमान स्थापित किए गए हैं। अंतरिक्ष क्षेत्र में हमारा अमेरिका, रूस और चीन की तुलना में काफ़ी कम खर्च पर क्वालिटी सेवा उपलब्ध करा रहा है। हमारा मंगलयान मिशन काफ़ी सफल रहा है। मंगलयान अपने लाइफ स्पैन से ज़्यादा चला है। फाइनल स्टेज पर लैंडिंग में स्पीड काफ़ी महत्वपूर्ण हो जाती है। हमारे वैज्ञानिकों ने इस मिशन में अभूतपूर्व कार्य किया है। अब दुनिया स्पेस के क्षेत्र में हमें एक पावर के रूप में देख रही है। अमेरिका ने भी अपने स्पेस मिशन में हमें शामिल करने का आग्रह किया है। मैं एक बार पुनः इस ऐतिहासिक उपलब्धि के लिए देश के वैज्ञानिकों को बधाई देता हूं और इस अविस्मरणीय पल की अनुभूति दिलाने के लिए देश के यशस्वी प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी का हार्दिक अभिनंदन करता हूं। भाजपा की ओर से मैं इस महान क्षण के लिए देश की जनता को बधाई देता हूं और इस सफलता के लिए सभी को बधाई देता हूं।
Rapturous scenes all across the country. India is celebrating. You think that an India-Pakistan World Cup match is tense. Watching this Shiv live, nothing competes, nothing compares. This is at another level altogether.
This is another level altogether. I mean, I was in Bengaluru in 2019 with Raj Chengappa. All of us were there when the Chandrayaan-2 was unable to.
और मून तो मैं तो ये कहूँगा कि ना केवल हिंदुस्तान ने चांद पर अपनी जगह बनाई है, बल्कि जैसे मैंने अपने आरंभिक समय में कहा था कि जिस चांद के दीदार के लिए सारी दुनिया तरसती है, उसको आज हमने छू करके महसूस किया है। और ये संभव हुआ कि यहाँ प्रतिभा भी थी, योग्यता भी थी, लेकिन उस प्रकार के वातावरण में हमारे वर्क एनवायरनमेंट में उस तरह की अनुकूलता नहीं थी। और इसलिए धन्यवाद करना है मोदी जी ने, जब अंतरिक्ष के विभाग को पुरानी बंदिशों से मुक्त किया तो कुछ ही वर्षों के भीतर एक तीव्र गति का क्वांटम जंप हुआ है। और कहाँ ये यात्रा प्रारंभ हुई थी आज से 60 साल पहले, जब विक्रम साराभाई साइकिल के कैरेज पर लॉन्चर चलाया करते थे। और आज हमारा मिशन जाकर के जल के होने का प्रमाण लेकर आता है। और आने वाले समय में देश जो पहले भारत को से अपेक्षा करते थे कि भारत उनका अनुसरण करेगा, वो भारत की अगुवाई में काम करने के लिए तैयार रहेंगे।
चंद्रमा के दक्षिणी ध्रुव पर पहुंचने वाला भारत पहला देश है और ऐसे अगर देखा जाए तो चौथा देश है। एक बड़ी कामयाबी वो 17 मिनट जिसको के लेकर के बड़ा ऊहापोह की स्थिति थी। आप भी जब बैठे हुए थे तब सोच रहे थे कि होगा कि नहीं, लेकिन अब मिशन पूरा हुआ।
मुझे लगता है कि अगले 25 वर्ष का जो अमृतकाल जिसका उल्लेख अक्सर प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी करते हैं, और भारत जब एक ऊंचाई की तरफ, उस शिखर पटल की तरफ बढ़ेगा, उसका वो असेंट का सफर आज अंतरिक्ष के माध्यम से प्रारंभ हो चुका है।
सर, प्रधानमंत्री ने कहा कि आगे भी चाहे सूर्य का मिशन हो, गगनयान हो, इस तरीके के आगे भी मिशन भारत के जारी रहेंगे। आगे किस तरीके का प्लान है इस सफलता के बाद?
सबसे पहले तो हमारा गगनयान एक बहुत महत्वपूर्ण हमारा प्रोजेक्ट है, जिसके लिए आरंभिक एक अनमैन्ड 2 मिशन रहेंगी। शायद इस अगले कुछ एक महीने के भीतर ही, शायद अगले महीने भी संभव हो सकता है। उसके बाद अगले साल के आरंभ में एक अनमैन्ड लेकिन रोबो।
Now go across to the ISRO chief, the man of the moment, the man who led this fabulous team of scientists as Somnath, the head of the Indian Space Research Organization. This, make no mistake, ladies and gentlemen, is the biggest moment of his life, and that of those of his teammates.
And all of you know it is not an easy task at all. It's a work of last so many years. Maybe for Chandrayaan-3 it's a work of last 4 years, but for Chandrayaan-2 that was a work of many years back. And the learning that we got from Chandrayaan-2 of our unsuccessful attempt to soft land has really helped us in perfecting the methodology, and also to have large number of experiments tests to prove the process of landing. Successful attempt to soft land has really helped us in perfecting
the methodology, and also to have large number of experiments, tests to prove the process of landing. And it has paid dividends today. And we had a very soft landing, and it actually achieved most of the nominal conditions for the landing, including the velocity of touchdown. In fact, I didn't get it exactly. Possibly my team will be able to tell them. The velocity was far less than 2 meters per second. It actually gives us a lot of confidence that the health of the craft will be very good. And we'll be able to continue with the experiments, including the Pragyan rover coming out and then doing all the experiments. So we are looking for very, very exciting 14 days from now for Chandrayaan-3. And as Honorable Prime Minister has mentioned, it is not Chandrayaan-3 alone. It is for future scientific exploratory missions. This is the beginning of a golden era. That is a message I get from what our Prime Minister told. So we are looking for launch of Aditya L1 now next month, and also the launches of many other science missions, including the mission for the human spaceflight as well. So thanking each one of you for your support. And I cannot tell you the type of that excitement that is created in the whole of India. Every school child, every school, every village, every mohalla is excited by the showcasing of this landing videos and broadcast. And all of them are praying, having lot of pujas and homas and other methods of prayers suitable for each one of them for the success of this mission. And I want to thank each one of you for your excitement, your love for the nation, and for whatever we achieved today. It's all dedicated to yourself and for your courage and strength to support us. Thank you so much. ISRO is planning many missions in the coming days. Our immediate mission is Aditya L1. And Aditya L1 spacecraft is a mission to study the sun, especially the corona of the sun, the processes that take place. The satellite is called Aditya L1. It's already integrated and it has moved to Sriharikota, and possibly it will be integrated with the rocket maybe today, tomorrow. And we are planning to have a launch in the first week of September. Everything is going as per plan. And after the launch, and this launch will go to an elliptical orbit. And from that it will travel to the Lagrangian L1 point, which will take almost 120 days plus. It will be placed in that orbit, and it will do continuous observation of sun unobstructed by the sun, moon or earth. So that is what we are trying to do. There are 7 instruments on board Aditya L1. Now let me complete some more of the missions. The next mission which we are trying to do is the Gaganyaan abort mission demonstration using a test vehicle. For this also the preparations are very well going on. We are targeting to have it on in the end of September or possibly first week of October. So everything is going as per plan. After that we have a GSLV mission for INSAT 3DS, the weather forecasting mission. We also have a mission in PSLV which is scheduled now. And we also have to have the SSLV D3 mission, which is the third development flight of SSLV. So this much is for a short time of next 3 months. And further years I should not announce at this moment because we are working very hard to achieve those targets. Thank you so much. अगले 14 दिन में हमारे ये रोवर है ना, विक्रम लैंडर की हेल्थ कंडीशंस हमको चेक करना है. इसके बाद the Pragyan rover will come out. Pragyan rover will come out in next maybe a few hours. Sometimes it may take 1 day as well, depending upon the conditions. Then each of the instruments will be deployed. There are many instruments. There is an instrument called REMBA, which will be deploying to study the geophysical parameters of the regolith. Then there is an ILSA, which will measure the seismic activity. Then REMBA is going to measure the atmosphere, the charged atmosphere of the moon. And there is a Chaste, which is going to pierce on the surface of the moon and then measure the thermophysical properties of the regolith. Then we have a ILSA payload, which will be lowered from the moon craft, that is Vikram. It will be lowered using some ropes. It will touch the surface and measure the seismic activity on the moon. And once the Pragyan rover comes out, there will be 2 important experiments, and both of them are linked with the elemental composition and chemical composition of the surface of the moon. The first experiment will be using a laser beam. We will send a laser beam from the rover on the material. It will fuse it, and then It will generate some spectroscopic information which will identify elements there. Another experiment is related to an alpha particle which will be emitted by the radioactive material sitting there, and that will generate certain X-ray fluorescence on the surface, and that will be measured to find out the chemical composition. So these are the main experiments that are on board Chandrayaan-3 now. Shall I answer in English? Okay, so say the most difficult part of the mission is to launch itself. Say the GSLV Mark 3, you should not forget that GSLV Mark 3, LVM-3 has done the job of putting it in the right orbit very first time. It went to 36,500 kilometers. From that, we did all that up to translunar injection. It worked very well and captured on the moon. So the first critical event is the launch. The second critical event is called the landing and capturing on the moon. If you miss it by your calculation, then we cannot mission. So this is the second critical mission. The third critical thing is called this separation of the lander and the orbiter, which happened at the appropriate time. This is again after so many days of spending in orbit, the mechanism has to work without any problem. So it worked very well. And the last critical moment is, of course, that you have watched along with us. That's it. I'll take it. You. What is the success of Chandrayaan-3 mean for future space explorations? Okay, success of Chandrayaan-3 meaning for the future exploration. I think it's all clear to you. I don't have to tell. Say, when it is such a tough journey for going to moon and landing, soft landing, which is very difficult for any nation to achieve today, even with the advancement of technology, and we achieving it in just two missions. The first mission had a narrow miss, and now we achieved it so perfectly. It gives confidence to configure missions to not only going to moon, going to Mars, sometimes land on the Mars, maybe in the future going to Venus and other planets, and also sometimes go beyond asteroids and others. We should think about it. I think you should all support us to plan such missions with a very, very cost-effective mission. Nobody in the world can ever do like this what we do, and nobody will be able to succeed maybe in the minimum most attempts. So I request each one of your support, encouragement. The whole of the nation should be behind us to do. मुश्किल था. So we went through. Sir. We went through lot of pain, a lot of agony. I must tell you, the people behind Chandrayaan-2 are still there. They are part of the Chandrayaan-3 team. I think none of them you know today. Chandrayaan-2 is a senior reviewer of Chandrayaan-3, and most of the people who are in Chandrayaan-2 are with us, helping us to do the Chandrayaan-3. So they are part of this. And they have gone through such an agony of understanding what went wrong. It went about almost a year of thrashing them to find out and looking at the data so much. And the whole of this team, I don't think they would have slept very well in the last so many years. I think the credit goes to those people who have spent enough amount of time, but equal amount of time has been spent by our seniors, some of the retired colleagues who sat with them to find out how it can be improved this time. So my salutations to all such people who have, those are unsung heroes today. They are not in the seat, but my congratulations to all such people.
Sir, Rajiv Mishra from Rajasthan Patrika. Sir, here. Hello, sir.
See, Honorable Prime Minister was kind enough to call me, and he connected my name to the Chandrayaan mission. Of course, I am very proud of that. And he conveyed his greetings to all the scientists in ISRO for the wonderful work they did. Naturally, all of us are proud of that, as I mentioned earlier. And he is very clear about the long-term vision. He wants to make sure that we remain very, very dominant in the area of space exploration and science. It's important for the nation. He is so clear about the Amrit Kal when he was put forth And we have presented him these ideas and concepts, and I'm very hopeful that he will be supporting us to continue these missions, exploratory missions, science missions, in addition to what is important for societal and commercial needs. Thank you. See, she is asking about the cost effectiveness of this mission, and I think I don't want to explain all the secrets, because if I tell the secrets, others will learn and they will become very cost effective.
Sir.
See, ISRO already strong.
Sir.
It will be.
Sir, Rajiv Mishra from Rajasthan Patrika. Rajiv Mishra, sir, hello. Sir, Rajiv, sir, sir. Sir, here, sir, here. Sir, here.
See, we must also thank, I think there is a question on who all helped us to achieve this mission. And we must thank all those nations which came forth to help us in Chandrayaan-3 mission. We had support from USA, the NASA, the support from ESA, as well as our colleagues in other scientific organizations in this country. Especially the support came in form of ground stations, the tracking support. You know, from India alone, you cannot see the Chandrayaan-3 all the time. We need other ground stations. One in Australia helped us in Canberra. One in New Inertia helped us. One in UK helped us. And another in NASA's control. And all these ground stations were beaming the data to us. And we were able to get a lot of information, real-time information, and command uplink. Everything happened because of this. The second help came from the Jet Propulsion Laboratory of NASA, JPL, and they were also estimating the position of the Chandrayaan-3 very accurately using their technology and passing on the information to us, which gave us confidence to work on the mission design, trajectory design of the final phase of the mission. So thanks to all of them for their support.
Sir, सबसे पहले sir Rajiv Mishra here, sir here, sir here, sir here.
No, I wish to hand it over to my teammates.
Sir.
You can ask them the question.
Sir.
Please, one by one. Please, don't come.
सोमनाथ सर.
एक मिनट. कर देंगे. नहीं, comfortably. नहीं, आप लोगों के लिए है. कर देंगे.
सोमनाथ सर, सवाल सर, सोमनाथ सर. Sir, Somnath sir.
Please, mission director had to come. Please wait. Please be patient. We definitely will give. Yes,
sir, Somnath sir, sir.
Definitely video, photo. Don't restless.
Sir, here. Sir, मेरे दो सवाल है, sir. Sir, मेरे दो सवाल है. Sir,
no, there is a question to me.
मेरे दो सवाल है, sir.
There is a question to me about the technology strength of what we have done. And I must also tell you that the technology that we have in Chandrayaan-3 is no far less complex or inferior to any other technology that goes to the moon. So we have the best of the sensors of the world, the best in the class in the Chandrayaan-3. And I can tell you one story of Chandrayaan-2 to Chandrayaan-3. There is an instrument called the Laser Doppler Velocimeter was added in Chandrayaan-3, which was developed by one of the laboratory of ISRO. And this is a world-class instrument capable of measuring the velocity. And our cameras, which are put on board, developed by Space Application Center Ahmedabad, gave those beautiful pictures from the moon. And the inertial system package, which measures the orientation velocity made by the ISRO Inertial System Center. And our rockets are one of the best that put it in the right orbit. And we will have engines and liquid propulsion made in India by LPSC, the Liquid Propulsion Center of ISRO. So it's a made in India craft. So the capability that we have today is as good as anybody.
Sir, Somnath sir, यहाँ पे.
Now we'll take some photos. Okay.
Sir, Somnath sir. Sir.
Somnath, the chief of the ISRO, and just imagine, his name means Lord of the Moon or Protector of the Moon. What are the chances, Shiv, that the man who leads ISRO at this moment when we register our first successful landing on the surface of the moon is called Lord of the Moon or Protector of the Moon.
Amazing that his name means Protector of the Moon, but the real zinger there, and I know you caught it, Rahul, was when the journalists were haranguing him for answers. And he said, please don't force me to give too detailed answers. I don't want to reveal my secrets, and then everyone else will learn about how cost-effective we are. Rahul, just today, Elon Musk's tweet has gone viral, where he's talked about how, the cost of Interstellar, the movie by Christopher Nolan, is actually more than the budget that was used by ISRO for Chandrayaan-3. So Somnath is king. He's like a true rock star today. He's done what most people had written off as far as India's moon aspirations were concerned. There was in fact a theory that India might actually dump the Chandrayaan program entirely and move on to whatever comes next. He's the man on whose shoulders this has actually been proven right.
And Elon Musk's space company, SpaceX, is actually trying to build launch vehicles which are far bigger than anything that's been seen. They have a lot of money. So this is actually not just government, but even in India, with the whole space economy expanding in the way that it is, so many space tech firms getting involved, the effort to try and bring government and the private sector together. I want to go across to R. Madhavan.